Hello, welcome to the U.S. Department of Education, Office of Special Education Programs, Applicant Orientation for 84.325R, Preparation of Related Services Personnel Serving Children with Disabilities who have high-intensity needs. My name is Sun Young An, one of the project officers at OSEP, and I am recording this webinar on behalf of the competition manager for this grant, Louis Tripoli. The information that I'm about to present is for guidance only and cannot replace reading the notice inviting applications. Therefore, please read the entire notice inviting applications, the instructions, and all other related statutes, regulations, and references. Also, for additional information related to submitting an application, please review the recorded webinar titled Applying for the Office of Special Education Programs Discretionary Grants. The notice inviting applications for 84.325R was published in the Federal Register on November 16, 2023. Applications are due no later than 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time on January 16, 2024. The application package contains the Dear Applicant letter, the notice inviting applications, the Federal Register notice, and the grants.gov system submission procedures and tips for applicants, the priority description and selection criteria, general information, and required forms. Required forms can be found on the grants.gov 84.325R listing. The purpose of the 325R grant is first to help address state-identified needs of personnel preparation and to ensure that the personnel have the skills and knowledge that are scientifically based. In 2024, we have $5 million available for the 325R grant, and this can fund up to 20 awards. And I want to remind you of several important things concerning eligibility and applications. The 325R competition is for applications that propose to prepare only related services personnel. Applications that propose to prepare special education personnel are not eligible for this competition. Second, if you're an applicant from a minority serving institution and want to apply for both 325R and 325M, which is scheduled to be published at a later date, you would need to submit a separate and different application for each priority. Next, the degree programs eligible for the 325R grant include bachelor's, certification, master's, education specialist, and clinical doctoral degree programs in related services. Lastly, there is no requirement for applicants to propose an interdisciplinary project for FY24 325R grant. However, projects can propose an interdisciplinary project with 2 or more related services programs. It is also important to note the department priority because this language is embedded throughout the NIA. The department places a high priority on increasing the number of personnel who provide services to children with disabilities, including multilingual personnel and personnel from racially and ethnically diverse backgrounds. The absolute priority of the 325R grant is the preparation of related services personnel serving children with disabilities who have high intensity needs. Eligible degree programs include certification, master's, educational specialist, or clinical doctoral degree level. For the purposes of this priority, related services include the following: language pathology services, assistive technology services, sign language interpreting services, intervener services, psychological services, applied behavior analysis, physical therapy and occupational therapy, recreation, including therapeutic recreation, artistic and cultural services, including music, art, dance, movement therapy, services, counseling services, including rehabilitation counseling, and orientation and mobility services. For the purposes of this priority, we define high-intensity needs as a complex array of disabilities, or the needs of children with these disabilities require intensive and individualized interventions. And here is an example of a complex array of disabilities, including multiple disabilities, significant cognitive disabilities, significant sensory disabilities, significant autism, significant emotional disabilities, or significant learning disabilities, including dyslexia. I say that certification programs are allowed to apply under 3 to 5R. By certification, we mean programs of study for individuals with bachelor's, master's, educational specialist, or clinical doctoral degrees that lead to licensure, endorsement, or certification from a state or national credentialing authority following completion of the degree program that qualifies graduates to teach or provide services to children with disabilities. Programs of study that lead to a certificate or completion awarded from an institution of higher education, but do not lead to licensure, endorsement, or certification from a state or national credentialing authority do not qualify. There is competitive preference in FY24 3 to 5R. We will give 3 additional points to applicants that have not had an active discretionary grant under assistance listing number 84.325R, 84.325M, or 84.325K funded in the last years before the deadline date for submission of applications under this program, which is assistance 84.325R. Applicants are institutions of higher education, program within an institution. Therefore, if your institution was awarded 3 to 5 or K in the last 5 years, you would not be eligible for this competitive preference points. And a grant is considered active until the end of the grant funding period, including any extension period. Eligible applicants are institutions of higher education or a private nonprofit organization that provide the designated degree programs in related services. Applicants propose a project under Focus Area A, preparing personnel to serve infants, toddlers, and pre-age children with disabilities, or Focus Area B, preparing personnel to serve school-age children with disabilities. OSA may fund out-of-rank order, high-quality applications to ensure that projects are funded across both Focus Area A and Focus Area B. And I want to emphasize this point again here. Applicants under this priority may not submit the same proposal under personal preparation of special education, early intervention, and related services personnel at historically Black universities, tribally controlled colleges and universities, and other minority serving institutions, 3 to 5, which is scheduled to be published at a later date. Applicants may submit substantive different under 3 to 5R and 3 to 5M. And OSET may fund applications out of rank order based on funding decisions across 3 to 5R and 3 to 5M in FY24 to ensure that similar personnel preparation are not funded in the same institution across 3 to 5R and 3 to 5M competitions. The 3 to 5R grant program defines a scholar as a student who is enrolled in a program that leads to certification, licensure needed to serve IDA eligible children with disabilities. Upon graduation, scholars are expected to be able to be employed in a position that serves children with disabilities for a minimum of 51% of their time or caseload. Lastly, scholars must be able to fulfill service obligation requirements on the link listed here. A 3 to 5R application can be funded up to $1,250,000 for 5 years. Over the 5 years, 65% of the award minimum must be used for scholar support. Applicants may use up to the first 12 of the performance period and up to $100,000 of the first budget period for planning. An applicant proposing to use year 1 or a portion of year 1 for program development must ensure that 65% of the total award minus funds allocated for program development will be used for scholar support. So the activities proposed, applicants can request different amount for each budget year as long as it does not exceed $350,000. For example, an applicant may propose less amount for the first year semester planning period, and the project plans to admit fewer scholars. Then the applicant may budget $350,000 for the second and the third year when most project activities happen, with a total request for the federal grant for the 5-year project at $1,250,000. It is important to read the NIA to understand how you can design high-quality scholar for the scholar support does not need to be uniform for all scholars and should be customized for individual scholars' needs. Scholar support should include considerations for all costs associated with the cost of attendance, even if that means enrolling fewer scholars. We want quality scholar support that will lead scholars to complete the program. Some examples you may consider in designing scholar support include tuition and fees, student health insurance, allowance for books, materials, and supplies, an allowance for miscellaneous personal expenses, allowance for dependent care, such as childcare, an allowance for room and board, travel in conjunction with training or conferences, and stipends to support scholars' completion. Projections for scholar support also should consider tuition increase and cost of living. Now I will talk about the application narrative and selection criteria, required project assurances, and general requirements. Again, it is critical to read the entire NIA, and this presentation cannot replace reading the NIA. There are 5 areas of selection criteria we ask applicants to address in the application narrative. Those are significance of the project, quality of project services, quality of project personnel and quality of management plan, adequacy of resources, and quality of project evaluation. Up to 10 points are available for the significance section. In determining the quality of this section, we will consider the following factors: how the project will address the need in the proposed preparation focus, who are fully qualified to serve children with disabilities who have high-intensity needs. Proposed project will increase the number of personnel in the proposed preparation focus area, and how the applicant has successfully graduated students in their program, including students with disabilities, multilingual students, and students who are from racially and ethnically diverse backgrounds, including data disaggregated by disability status, race, national origin, and primary languages, and the number of students who have graduated in the last 5 years. The quality of project services is where you will describe the meat of the project, and up to 35 points are available for this section. If your project will have a planning period, this is where you will describe your planning activities. We also want to see and retention plans in this section. You should also describe how the project will help scholars build the necessary competencies in this section. And please note that applicants should engage in focused outreach and recruitment to increase the number of applicants from groups that are traditionally underrepresented in the field, including applicants with disabilities, multilingual applicants, and applicants from racially and ethnically diverse backgrounds. However, the selection criteria the applicant intends to use must ensure equal access and treatment of all applicants seeking admission to the program, and must be consistent with applicable law, including federal civil rights law. Up to 20 points are available for the quality of project personnel and management plan. In this section, we want to see how the project director and other key personnel, project personnel, are qualified to prepare scholars in the project's preparation focus area, how the project director and other key project personnel will manage the components of the projects, and whether the time commitments of the project director and other key project personnel are adequate to meet the objectives of the proposed project. Up to 20 points are available for the adequacy of the resources section. And this section is where you can elaborate on your plans for scholar support, as well as adequacy of your budget. Lastly, up to 15 points are available for the project evaluation section. Again, please read the NIA for the required project assurances, including the service obligation requirements, an assurance that all the course syllabi will be provided if requested by OSEP, and the IDA statutory requirements. Additional project assurances emphasize the 65% scholar support requirement. Also, please ensure that scholar support based on the condition that the scholar works for the university. And applicants should also ensure that a revised budget will be submitted if the project plan for recruitment or enrollment changes. Once funded, grantees are required to attend our annual project directors meeting, and funded projects are also required to participate in cross-project collaboration and learning opportunities. And if you build a website for the project, please assure that it is accessible. And lastly, the funded projects must meet the annual scholar data reporting requirements. Here are general requirements related to the employment of individuals with disabilities, engagement of individuals with disabilities, and equal access. Please read them carefully. In this last section, I will talk about application submission tips and ineligible applications and share some helpful resources. Application is submitted electronically. We do not take paper applications or applications via email. And the due date p.m., 9 p.m., excuse me. The due date is 11:59 p.m. in Eastern Time on January 16th, 2024. And all application selection or all application sections and attachments must be uploaded in PDF read-only format. And this is very important instructions in the application package on grants.gov. Please read the application package instruction regarding the instructions to make your application accessible to reviewers who are blind or have low vision. In our review panel, we host reviewers with disabilities, so please make sure that you make your applications accessible. And please register early on grants.gov, and also make sure that your SAM registration is current and submit early, and also verify that your submission went through. And please follow the formatting requirements and recommendations. You can find the information in the application package. Ineligible applications are duplicate applications and applications that did not meet the application deadline or applications that do not address the priority. And I want to introduce some helpful resources. Please the NIA in its entirety. You may use this pre-application webinar as an additional resource to the NIA. We also developed a frequently asked questions and answers document and a brochure for the 3 to 5R grant program. The FAQs and brochure will be uploaded on this webinar page at a later date. Versus, and OSIP has a discretionary grant program database, and you can also sort through previously funded 3 to 5 grants in the database if you want to see some examples, synopsis, or of previously funded. Now, this concludes the pre-application information webinar for the FY24 84.3 to 5R grant. And if you have questions, please email the competition manager, Luis Tripoli, at the email listed here. Thank you.